It was one of those easy, golden Saturdays when the air felt slow and forgiving, and my friends and I had gathered for our usual brunch ritual, the kind of morning that carried the scent of syrup and citrus, where laughter bubbled up too easily, and secrets slipped out between delicate sips of champagne. We were all sunk deep into soft chairs round the terrace table, surrounded by flickers of sunlight and the soothing clink of glassware. Conversation danced from work woes to family updates, to the usual playful ribbing about our partners. Someone, half laughing, made a comment about Daniel, how reserved he always seemed, how he barely spoke at gatherings, wanting to keep the mood light and riding the wave of careless amusement. I smirked and lifted my glass, saying, "At least my ex knew how to make me laugh." Then, almost instinctively, as if showing off, I added, "And he definitely knew his way around the bedroom." The table roared, forks hit plates, champagne nearly spilled, and everyone leaned into the moment with wide grins and gasping laughter. I laughed too, swept up in the thrill of being effortlessly witty, not thinking twice about the weight of what I'd said. For a brief moment, it was just harmless fun, the kind of thing that floated away with the breeze. But then the laughter died. It didn't fade, it fell, all at once, like a curtain dropped mid-scene. I noticed the stilted smiles, the averted eyes, the way every woman at that table suddenly went still. I turned, confused, and then I saw him. Daniel stood just a few feet away. In his hands was a bouquet of sunflowers, his quiet, thoughtful favorite, the kind he brought me the day we unpacked the last of our boxes and turned our first apartment into a home. He had always brought them without occasion, without reason, just to say, "I thought of you today." But that morning, they looked awkward in his hands, out of place. His face was unreadable for one long, shattering second. Then it changed, cracked open into something raw and unfamiliar. Hurt, disbelief. He didn't say a word. He stepped forward, placed the bouquet on the empty chair beside me, and walked away. Not a glance, not a pause. The air turned sharp in my lungs. My heart thudded painfully against my ribs as I scrambled from my seat, my napkin falling to the ground, my chair scraping loud against the stone floor. I called his name once, twice, but he didn't stop. Out on the sidewalk, he just kept walking, his figure growing smaller with each step, swallowed by the city, by my silence, by my stupidity. I stood there trembling, the laughter from minutes ago echoing in my skull like a cruel taunt. That night, he didn't come home. His phone rang straight to voicemail, and each call I made felt more desperate than the last. I sat on the couch with my knees drawn up, the room dark but for the soft glow of the porch light he always turned off when we went to bed. It stayed on all night. I stayed up with it, playing the scene in my head until I was sick with shame. I told myself it wasn't that bad, that he would understand. But deep down, I knew the truth. I had humiliated the man who had only ever loved me gently. The next morning, I found the note, folded once, left neatly on the kitchen counter beside the bowl of lemons he always used for his morning tea. The words were simple. "I thought I meant more to you. Maybe I was wrong. Don't call me." I read it over and over until the paper creased with the trembling of my fingers, until the words swam and blurred through the tears that spilled freely. Silently, I slid to the cold tile floor and sat there, surrounded by the stillness of our shared life, every object now echoing with his absence. I called him. I texted. I emailed. I even went to his office in a last-ditch effort, only to be told by his assistant that he was on indefinite leave. Our mutual friends didn't say much. They tried to remain neutral, but I saw it in their eyes, the quiet judgment, the cautious sympathy. I didn't blame them. I had made him the punchline of a joke, reduced our entire history to a careless one-liner, and now I was watching everything unravel. Memories became landmines. The way his eyes had sparkled the night he proposed, his hands clumsy and shaking, the first cheap mattress we dragged up 3 flights of stairs, laughing the entire way, the way he would silently wrap his arms around me from behind when I was overwhelmed, grounding me like gravity. He had always been my anchor, my quiet place, my softness in a loud world. Weeks passed without a word. I started therapy, clawing for answers, trying to understand what part of me had needed to sabotage something so solid. My therapist said it was fear, deep-rooted insecurity masked as sarcasm. That people who don't believe they're worthy of love often destroy it before it can leave them. But knowing why didn't soothe the ache. It didn't bring him back. One afternoon, I ran into his brother in the grocery store. I must have looked like a ghost, pale and desperate. I pleaded with him to tell Daniel I was sorry, that I was trying to become better, that I would never, ever let a moment like that happen again. He didn't say much, just gave me a quiet nod. I didn't expect anything more. That night, my phone buzzed. Just 3 words, "I heard you." And I broke. Not because everything was magically fixed, but because it meant he had listened. Somewhere, deep in his hurt, there was still a flicker of care. I cried harder than I had in weeks. Months passed. He never came back. The sharp edge of that final look he gave me eventually dulled, but it never disappeared. It settled into a quiet ache that I carry with me now, every time I pass that cafe or hear a song he used to hum while brushing his teeth, or see a sunflower leaning toward the light. I feel it, the echo of what I lost. The reminder that love, no matter how steadfast, is still fragile, and all it took was one sentence, a single thoughtless attempt at being funny that unraveled something beautiful. If I could go back, I would hold those words in my mouth like glass, too afraid to let them fall. But life doesn't offer do-overs, only the slow, steady weight of regret and the aching lesson to never treat love as if it's guaranteed.